the angst that you kind of can't shake.
Right.
And I thought, like, I want to do something creative because, like, this woman you mentioned, I thought this all is killing.
Yes.
And like killing creativity is sucking the life out of me.
How long was Snowmageddon?
Oh, God.
Snowmageddon.
I walked out the other day. I think it was like the 4th day of it when it was still slushy and icy. Maybe it was the 2nd, but it was so cold. I
was this the
almost
first
had to
round
sneeze
of
when I walked
ice?
out, where
Well-
it like penetrates your nose.
Oh, because it was almost like cold ice
It
cream.
was 16 degrees.
But let me ask you, it has only been 16 degrees. Feels like 9.
Yeah.
But wait.
rough.
We had the first round, we had ice, and then I barely got rid of the ice. And that's when we had 9 inches of snow?
Oh, yeah. Well, for the apocalypse, you said you were going through your list of hypotheticals, but what was the one item
it was so awful.
I woke up thinking about that and I laughed.
I had generator on top of generator on top of firewood on top of outdoor firewood on top of, worst case scenario, could we get to the car because it was frozen, shut or whatever. All of the things. And then Snowmageddon comes and we get 9 inches and I'm like, I will go downstairs and get my handy dandy shovel. And they're all out in the barn, way over there.
No.
And they're not a one of them is a snow shovel because in my prepping, we don't ever get snow, so why would I have a snow shovel? I got a floor scraper.
We had 14 inches in T Vegas.
I'm sure
So you had to walk only a
our
mile
own.
to your barn to get your shovel.
Yeah, I really would. And not only that, the pond was frozen.
Oh.
And it's still frozen.
You could have just glided across.
No.
Ice skating.
I don't know. You don't ever trust that unless it's, I was going to say unless it was a month of frozen temperatures, but that's
so the
all
fish
we've had.
died?
No, the fish, they're very hardy. They're dormant. They go to the very bottom and they
They meditate.
do something. They just, I wonder I wish, I will Google this for the class one time. What does it dormant fish look like at the bottom of a pond?
Sounds like a virus, like mono.
What are they, just like this? Their eyes, they don't have eyelids, so their eyes are just, they're just bug-eyed. They're fish-eyed. I wonder what they do. And
what do they think about? What do they talk about?
do they even think at that point, or are they just in dormant?
Are they just a
frozen
figment
state?
of God's imagination?
No. We believe in reality.
But do they?
They think, therefore they are. I don't think they have to think, therefore they are. They are. However, it does make me wonder, do they go on their sides? Do they lisp back and forth? Is the water soupy at the bottom?
Have you thought about getting a wetsuit and taking a tour?
I'm sorry.
You get Dustin
I'm
to
just
show
gonna,
you.
get farm manager Dustin. Would you go take a picture?
Can you imagine that as an assignment? Can you do some oceanography in my pond?
You know what he'd do? He would rig up something. He'd get a waterproof, Garmin phone or something.
Yeah.
And we were just talking about fish, and then all of a sudden,
If there's a lighting adjustment, my eyes were crying.
You're not Gen, what are you, Gen Z?
Probably triggered by everything.
Gen Z.
I was born in the late 1900s, 96.
I don't know. You know what? I never thought about this. Who names those things? Who gets to name those things?
We should name them.
You know what would be really great?
What?
We could raise money to get rid of our national debt, and Congress would try to get a hold of it anyways.
Have a GoFundMe for the
Have a GoFundMe, and then whoever wins, have a vote, have a lottery where they actually use the money for what we tell them, meaning going to the national debt. And then whoever wins gets to name the next generation.
Ooh, I like that. That kind of puts less government more in the people's hands too.
That does.
So we don't aimlessly give our tax
it
dollars.
satisfies those gamblers out there.
Yeah, ooh. Can really scratch an itch.
Yeah, but then Las Vegas would do odds. There would probably be corruption and anytime.
Yeah, the big cities would all come and there would be like an apocalypse.
They would go, I'm sorry, it has to have a certain word in it. And Yeah, they would
Yeah.
just get ruined.
Yeah,
Which kind of brings us to our story. our,
How do open it? Take it away.
well, we had a really, Anna Gray and I had a really great phone talk, and it was like, here, look at this. Here, look at that. Here, look at that. I'm thinking this. I'm thinking that. You're right. So we were going back and forth, and I thought, oh my goodness, I hope we don't break up. No.
I thought the same thing. I was like, oh man, I hope I don't sound like pretentious.
I was just like,
my
oh,
texts and memos.
If this is the end of our friendship, then I am really going to be very, very mad that it was this. So
too.
we were going back and forth about something, and it's
A hot topic.
It's a hot topic.
That's no pun intended.
What?
Oh man.
Oh, okay. I won't let
No,
you
I
say
said
it.
no pun intended.
This is true. This is true.
It's a colder topic.
It is. And
on you
unfortunately, by
guys.
the time this airs, we will have moved on to how many news cycles, and that's what
monks will be coming through again, or there will be
Yes.
tornadoes.
And there will be, it'll
Something
be
else.
spring, and there'll be, whatever. But it dawned on me that in all of the crazy and all the news cycles and being stuck inside, and so we would turn to social media more. And, it being the end of January to February, and there's a lot of things that people feel fresh about. They're ready to take on new things. But at the same time, there's things you want to see happen, like movements of goodness. All of a sudden we get, whatever is on the next news cycle, whatever is the next great protest or whatever. Somebody, and I'm not talking sides here. We said we weren't going to talk sides, which is great, because I don't think it pertains to that. But whatever's in the news cycle, it ramps people up, and we were feeling, enough where we were trying to figure things out.
We were feeling ramped up.
We were feeling ramped up. Yeah. And then I just remember seeing somebody that I really respect on Facebook. And I didn't spend enormous time on social media, but this was one of these things. It just felt like it was in the air. Everybody was talking about it. Oh, please, And I just saw, and she had done some dedicated research on it and had shared with the class. And then she goes, I'm taking a break. She goes, this is not good for my creativity.
Ooh.
And
was it like heated political stuff that had been posting about?
She was right in it. And she goes, okay, I've satisfied the information, the research that needed to be done on my end, and I've shared it with you in as unbiased approach as possible. I thought she did a really fair job. But she says, and I had already started to feel this, like, what is going on here? With all this going on, we were just in another news cycle about something 3 weeks ago. And, so it dawned on me, particularly after the great snowstorm and me not being ready, prepped out totally with my snow shovel. And all the anxiety.
Did you have your broom instead?
Yeah.
You had your broom.
I had my broom.
I
I had my handy dandy broom and a floor scraper. But it dawned on me how fatigued I was on other things. And so it was almost like it laid bare this opportunity to, dive into social media, because everybody was, the South shuts down in a snowstorm. And we really had a serious snowstorm.
We did.
Yeah,
Like, jokes on me.
But it was ice on top of snow. And so, the farm hasn't DoorDashed for 2 weeks.
Whoa.
I think DoorDash crashed.
The stock market crashed.
It's just like, oh no, sell DoorDash now. No, it felt, at one point it dawned on me, it's like, okay, I'm either being played, which I think it feels like, from whatever the more important topics that need to be tackled are at hand, and it's robbing me of being creative, because I came into January thinking, okay, these are the things I want to do, da 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 da, And then all of a sudden, all this came up, and it was a disruption of the soul. And I really got mad. I was like, I don't think I want to participate in this anymore. So why don't you tell your side of how?
Man, I like that. Man, bring up intro.
Yeah. Well,
I would echo all the same thoughts because I was in Atlanta, I guess when all of these hot topics transpired, like when they were kind of at their peak.
And the snow.
And the snow, yeah. I was running south from the snowstorm, the first snowstorm.
Right.
But I was talking about what we were with some friends, and it wasn't a heated discussion we were having, but it was kind of just trying to figure out what do we think about this, and just, I don't know, we were talking about like being inundated with news and stuff. Like, I don't think we were meant to consume this much at a time.
Yeah.
But it's funny because simultaneously you and I were like back and forth. See, okay, here's the thing though, like, I think it's great when you can have friendships where you actually can like hardcore have disagreements, because we like strongly disagreed in different ways. And it's funny because in my head I was thinking, oh my gosh, I hope I don't sound like so pretentious, because I had also been in a very heated debate with another person, another friend, and we were a lot more like blunt, not cutthroat, I wouldn't say, because there was no like
blood.
But I probably let like some colorful words fly, not towards the person, but just laced in my vocabulary. So, you know, trying to be not factual, more like statements versus emotions. But anyway, yeah, I was feeling the same way though, because I had been in several conversations with people like bringing up this stuff, and not in a bad way, because like I actually think it is really healthy, one, for people to be expressive and honest and just like how they're feeling about stuff, but also like, I don't want to say, even like in the space to like hear other opinions, but just like knowing you can still have a connection with somebody, you can be friends with somebody, you can be family, you don't like, you can have really contrasting opinions on stuff without it reshaping everything. But all that being said, I also started to have a moment too where I'm like, I'm so done with seeing all this on social media. It wasn't even our conversations, because I'm like, okay, cool, we'll talk about it at some point. Like, it's cool. And yeah, there were a couple ongoing conversations with a few other people on the same issue. It's like 50% had one strong opinion, 50% the other. And that was my algorithm too, because like 50% of everyone are very, very, very radically liberal. The other are very 50% very, very, very radically like conservative. And then I'm sort of like moderate, I don't know. People would pin me either or, depending on what I say. But I logged onto Facebook, and I actually saw people posting stuff for like what I was, you know, more standing strongly on my opinions, like things that agreed with my own opinions. And I was done with seeing it. I'm like, I don't want to see any more of this. Like, I don't think this is beneficial anymore. This is all regurgitation of just talking. And again, this is stuff that like I was actively looking at myself, and I'm like, okay, I'm of this opinion on this right now. But I had a moment where I forget if it was how someone posted, because it was something really aggressive in how they were coming towards, like, I think people who more had your way of thinking towards this hot topic, and I did not like it. I was like, what? Like, how can we not just have a civil conversation? And why do we have to mind dump everything on social media? Blah, blah, blah. So then we had the snowstorm, and I get very anxious at the first snowflake.
I think
which sounds really snowflakey of me.
No, I agree with you.
The feeling of being, I don't want to say trapped, but when we got 14 inches, and Southerners do not know how to prepare for actual snowstorms at all. We buy milk and bread and shut down, and like, that's it.
Yes.
But
and the suggestion of an inch of snow. We did.
Yeah, everything shuts down, but then like no one knows how to actually drive in it, and we're not prepared with the efficiency. But anyway, so that was my moment, politically speaking. But then also with the creativity on top of it, I just felt so uninspired because I was sitting in my bedroom floor in a giant t-shirt and like sport shorts in front of a space heater, coiled up, and just feeling like all this feelings of like impending doom, like, oh no, like it was this heavy snowfall. And for some it was like, oh, this is beautiful, la la la. And I wanted to feel that, and I did, but then all I could think is, oh my gosh, it's gonna turn to ice, it's gonna turn to slush, I'm gonna be trapped.
And it was incredibly cold.
It was so cold. Like for the South, like Northerners, Canadians, don't hate on us, but we're not used to having like 9 degrees in the morning, 6 degrees.
Or 0 out of here.
Did we have, you had 0? Yeah. No way. Yeah. So you were in like Siberia.
It was like 1.
Okay.
Yeah, it's colder. I mean, we have little dips. I mean, it's geographical dips. But,
interesting.
But continue.
Well,
I
that's
think
basically
it's really
like, okay, this is just like the low that I hit. I don't know, I felt like the only things that I was consuming was the same regurgitated stuff online over and over. And I was like glued to my phone, which I've been trying to be more conscientious of. Staying off of my screen more, but I'm sitting in front of my space heater, completely creatively uninspired, tired. I just come back from Atlanta.
Locked up in our houses.
Yep. And I'm thinking this whole time, like, okay, first world problems. It's not like this is the worst thing, but it's like the angst that you kind of can't shake.
Right.
And I thought, like, I want to do something creative. Because like this woman you mentioned, I thought this all is killing.
Yes.
And like killing creativity is sucking the life out of me. I'm sick of seeing people's opinions online, not just about the things I held the same opinions for. It started to really irritate me. I'm like, I don't like this approach anymore, and like this is too much. But then on top of that, seeing how bleak it was outside, I'm like, oh man. In my head I was just like, it's January, like here we go. Right. So, yeah. So that's where we plummet.
That is plummeted. Let's delve more in the plummet, and then we can go to the creative part. Because I think that's where we want to land.
This is where our memo reconciled.
That's where, because what woke me up was, and this was before I saw her post. I noticed I had no gratitude.
I didn't either.
I looked at the snow. Everybody was talking how beautiful it was, and all I could see was, okay, I got to shovel this out. In case I need to do this, I've got to do this. I've got to make sure, do the birds have enough seed? All the things. I'm worried about all these things. I'm worried about my people. I get everybody warm. Not that I could get out, but, checked on my neighbors. All the things that you're supposed to do. But instead of seeing, oh, this is glorious, I see 9 to 12 inches of I don't see snowmen. I don't see sledding.
We see like catastrophic.
I see really, because I'm on the farm here, and will the fish die? All this stuff. So I was in that mode, but on top of that,
sorry, I'm just like. For cozy up, or like words of impending doom.
I mean, seriously.
Cozy up with sweaters and soup, and we're like, oh God, no.
Well, no, the one thing we did do, but even that was prepping. Like the fires of Mordor in my kitchen did not stop. The industry, the fires of industry. I cranked out, I don't know how many soups, everything, so it would be ready made for the freezer the refrigerator to get cut off. And we would be able to eat for 15 days, which unfortunately is, some people did have that problem in Nashville and other places.
Oh my gosh!
It wasn't 15, but it was pretty bad. However, it almost. So I looked out. This is what it took. I looked out, and I looked out on my pond, and it was frozen, and I see the snow. And the dear sweet tree, which normally cuts off in any type of weather that I have lit from Christmas, that sucker stayed flaming the whole time with the lights. And so it was kind of like my bright moment of hope over there. But it was
Oh, is this the holiday tree out there?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
But it was the Christmas tree.
The January tree.
But I just looked out and I just went, God, that is really beautiful. And that is what broke it, is seeing beauty.
Yes.
Being open to beauty and saying, and then part of me regretted that I had moaned and groaned throughout the whole process of this thing called snow that the Lord was bringing on us. Instead of delighting in it, I sat there and thought, okay, this is a problem to be fixed. Just like everything else, on those news reels, the news feed, we have to fix stuff, we have to fix stuff, we have to fix the snow, we have to fix ourselves, we have to fix. And I realized, who needed fixing was my heart. Because all I wanted to do at that point was just be grateful and thankful to the Lord God Almighty for bringing something. And that was like a very gentle, he didn't even slap me, but it was like, wake up. It was a wake up call.
So it was like a whole spiritual paradigm shift.
It was total. It's like, remember, Renee, this is the kingdom of the world. You live in a kingdom that is mine and that's eternal. Live in this kingdom.
Well, I think there's something about being, quote, stuck inside, which I was in this mindset of such ambivalence, because I, on the one hand, was thinking, this is a first world problem and privilege. Some people have nowhere. I was praying for the homeless and oh dear God, please do not let anyone be cold tonight.
Yes.
Can everyone please somehow just keep warm, have somewhere to sleep? Yet also thinking simultaneously, these feelings of angst, it's almost like you have to confront everything in your mind because you're kind of forced to be with your thoughts. You can't just go out and do stuff, and if the power goes down or the Wi-Fi goes out,
It did feel...
Silence is terrifying, and the snow has this way of making stuff feel really quiet.
And that was what I noticed was quiet. And I remember looking out on that snow and wondering, by the snow, Lord, what have you brought on us that we needed more than the rush, hurry, fix. So the news cycle went on while we were having snow. But there was this holy hush that really, as soon as it lifted and the driveway got scraped, I went, oh, that was precious.
That was precious. Did you get a shovel?
No. One of the neighbors volunteered and came over and did it.
Did
it without asking me. Just did it.
Did a neighbor do the same thing? Was plowing the entire road in everyone's driveways? I mean, it was driveways.
But I mean, how precious is that? But at that moment, I realized I now have access to the rest of the world. And I think in a way that is our phones. They're highways.
Yeah.
And I realized through that, after the snowplow came through, I realized I am less enamored with my phone than I have ever been.
Ooh.
But I still have the addiction to run to the news cycle, run to hear what was being said. But I think the cure for that is the idea of what am I missing when my eyes are fixed on something that is not a beauty.
I love how actually saying that reminds me, there's debate on whether he technically quoted this or not, and I haven't finished the book yet, but Fyodor Dostoevsky has this quote, beauty will save the world. And now there's this whole history behind it and how he saw this actually quite gruesome painting of Jesus being crucified, but it changed his life at seeing this, and there's a whole story behind it. And I saw this quote in Italy when I was with my friend a couple years ago, and something about it just, it sounds cliche to say, it changed me, but it did. Yeah. And I was like, I need to Google stalk this dead 1800s author, yet another dead crush. And as I was reading more about that, beauty will save the world, because I thought, it's probably an artist who's saying prettiness is going to make us all happy, but there was a really
flower power. It's more than flower power.
DuckDuckGo, Google stalk Fyodor Dostoevsky in the quote, but to echo your thoughts, I think actually being open to beauty and receiving from a place of curiosity rather than fear is, I think, a way of experiencing God in a different kind of way. And our eyes being open to something new. And I had a similar paradigm shift in front of my space heater. It's like
space heater.
I wish I could have had a picture of me before. It was like I'm in like sports shorts, a baggy t-shirt, also just doom scrolling on my phone. I don't even scroll. I enjoy posting and connecting with people, but I'm not really like a scroller.
I'm not either.
You know?
I had to shop.
Until politics.
I had
and
to
then
shop
I'm like,
too.
You what?
I had to shop. I had to look at, something to wear, when I go to Texas.
Oh, yeah.
Even though I have a zillion clothes, I don't need anything. I mean, it's doom whatever.
It's just like, what can I get engrossed in? Yeah, probably Googling too many Reddit forums on opinions on, I don't know, anything from how to make bread to quantum physics. And like, how far can we go? Yeah.
It is total and complete distraction.
Well, I felt disgusted because as I'm literally on my phone, I'm thinking, I hate this. And the thought came into my head, why are you doing it? Like, you're allowing this to happen. Like, and I wanted to capture the snow in some sort of ethereal way because I had the same thought. I was like, I'm not seeing snowmen. And like how my mother sees it, it's like, the snow.
I know your mom is always
soup and goodness and God's creation.
Full. Yeah.
Always. Yeah, she loves it and is like hyped for it. Let's cozy up. And I'm like, anxious. I'm like the anxious mutt walking back and forth. It's like, what do I do with myself? What do I do with myself? Let me just look at my phone.
You did, though. That was really beautiful. It was really gorgeous.
Well, that's when I guess my paradigm shift really happened because I had the thought, what if you went out and just tried to take a self-portrait in the snow? Yeah. Because I wanted to capture the snow and as vain as it sounds, if I can make myself look decent and feel good, it does change my mood. Yeah. And so I felt it's like Cinderella going from her scraggly little nothingness dress, like
cinder's face,
to manically like, I have a ball gown and glass slippers.
And there's a pumpkin.
How did she not like cut her foot on those though? Like what? How would those?
They
not
were
break?
tempered glass. They were tempered.
Okay. Sorry. Side note.
Tempered stilettos.
Philosophical questions for the fish meditating in Cinderella.
And said on
her pinky toe.
They were probably Keens. They were actually probably Keens, not. I mean, if they were a really good slipper, they would have been glass Keens. They definitely
or like, or Chacos.
Yeah. No. I'm sorry. I'm sticking with the Keens. Yeah.
I basically was inspired by this song on Spotify and the snow. There was this artist from like the late 1960s, early 70s who just kind of set the mood into making me feel like I wanted to channel a mid-20th century woman. And I say that from an artistically inspired place because I was done with social. I felt drained. I was seeing dreariness outside. I thought, I want to see beauty. And it was a thought of like, well, do you have the curiosity to just go out just for 10 minutes, just see what happens? And so I did. Actually, I hydroplaned all the way downtown in my car.
You dangerous woman, you.
It was not a very smart move. And it was when it was like still coming down and like no parking anywhere. And I saw this beautiful alleyway where I thought, that's where I'm gonna take a portrait. And I had like put on this coat and semi-fixed my hair to, I don't know what era, but something. I thought I want to channel a mid-20th century woman and I want to feel pretty and create something pretty. And couldn't find anywhere to park. And I thought, I have to just use my regular road. But then the thought came up of like, wait, you don't have to go out and find beauty. Like, look, it's right in front of you, everywhere. Look up at the sky.
I love that. I love that.
And that's something I've always thought. Like, you don't have to go out and travel far to find it.
So we have it already.
We have it. And so I'm really over talking here, but that to say, I set up my tripod. My top half was mid-20th century. The bottom was like hiking boots.
Did you have shorts on or did you put full
No,
pants?
I had actual pants on. That sounded weird. I had on jeans and hiking boots.
But I love that.
And I had like Walmart bags over my cameras.
Wow.
I put my film camera in a Walmart bag to show how green I am to the world, and one over my actual camera. And so I just set it up, and there was something about it. Like I set it up in the middle of the road, in a neighborhood, not like the highway.
That's very good.
There's another suburban driving by. But I've wanted to do something with video, and I don't have all the, skill sets and deep and profound knowledge. But again, I just had this quick thought of, just press record, much like we do with podcasting before NRB convention. And it's like, let's just do it. Like, you don't have to know every single thing, but I really felt, and it's going to sound weird, because I didn't feel inspired still. Like, it was enough to get out of the house, and where I felt like, okay, I could potentially create something, but I'm not like feeling all the warm butterflies of, having a trajectory. I don't really know what I'm creating. And so I just pressed the record button, and I literally walked back and forth to the camera, got out the film camera to like kind of have my digital camera capture, because I'm like, I want this just to feel nostalgic and melancholic. I want maybe people to feel how I'm feeling inside, yet see the beauty of this glorious snowfall. And my fingers were literally contracting.
It was so cold.
They started to like hurt, the tips of them. I was like, let me just try to hold
it was only like 7 degrees out.
It was so cold. And I was putting my tripod probably like this, like putting it up. And so I ended up creating just like this 45-second, like a reel, but
it was
something
glorious.
digitally. But I had no idea what I was doing.
It was so beautiful. But the point is...
And this is where your memo came in too.
Yeah, because...
That's what happened, and it resonated apparently.
Because your post was... I remember commenting on it, like, you must be related to Rita Hayworth. It was so glorious the way you did it. You captured the feeling. And not only that, you have aspirations towards film.
Yeah.
And the idea is you're, to me, this is the glorious part of it. It's no longer an aspiration because you've taken steps towards it. You're on the journey now. And it to me felt like a victory. Over
it did.
The darkness of everything that was going on.
Well, it's crazy because after I did it, I had no idea what was going to become of it. And it's not that I sit here thinking, I created this like masterpiece. But I had just come back from Atlanta, and my friend's husband is like in cinematography, and just the most humble person to talk to. Wow. He is as from the heart as it gets.
That's great.
And he's also going to be creating a documentary this year, which he knows how to do all the things. And so I asked him for advice, because I said, I really want to create a documentary someday, or even just start learning videography. And he encouraged me. He said, let the story be what leads. He said, because that's ultimately what matters more than even the technical aspects. Right. Whereas a lot of people would say, no, get this right, get the frame rate right. Things that do matter,
Well, you can have beauty, but it can be empty.
Yeah.
If it doesn't have a story behind it.
Well, and I think something else that he talked about is like the discipline and creativity. Like, don't just create when you're feeling good, but sometimes you have to force yourself, and that's when good things come from it. And he actually created this really cool video on that, which I'll link in the show notes. Shout out to you, Chas and Maddie. But all of that to say, it was like I had all these thoughts going through my head at once, where I felt like almost convicted to create, which might sound really weird.
No, not at all.
But I think that people who are artistically inclined, like you, like myself, and so many others, like there's a place of healing within that. There's something where it feels like it's, it sounds again so out there to say it's an extension of your soul, but I believe God created so many of us to experience Him and beauty through that. And I think it heals and taps into maybe wounds that we have, or things we didn't even know about, or inspire us in ways we didn't know we need to be inspired in, or even to people looking at it, like a piece of writing, a book, a novel, a painting, a photograph, video, it, I think, has the power to even make people curious in a way they didn't know they were curious about, or, feeling emotions they didn't know were there. But anyway, so as not to keep, like, rambling.
Well, I think what you're saying, the creativity, because, well, no, you finish your thought.
I mean, that's pretty much it. It's just, I looked at the footage and I thought, I'm just going to put this and edit it. I want it to be black and white.
Yes,
I want it to be slow motion. And I knew in my head, I thought, they're going to be probably some, like, a lot of people who see this and think, oh, there's so many technical errors, because there's a lot of filmmakers, cinematographers in my circle. I'm like, oh gosh, I might be so judged and scrutinized. But I thought, you know what? I was also convicted of, like, seeing things through the eyes of a child. Some friends and I also had a conversation on that, on, like, childlike faith and curiosity. And I thought, I want to be like the 17-year-old me who would just go out and try stuff. And I didn't give a crap what people thought. I was excited.
I never thought about that. Yeah.
So that to say, with all of that, and then finding this little Mary Hopkin from 1970 and her old live music from London, I just, like, pieced it together. And I don't know, that's when everything kind of was it was a whole paradigm shift for me too.
Yeah.
I was not the sunken girl in front of my space heater anymore.
I love that. And I tackled it in a little different way, because I didn't go into actually writing anything, though I'm processing a new thing, and I'm like, yay, I love living a new story.
Like an idea for a story?
No, I already know what it's going to be. And so, I mean, lots of exploration that will happen on the page, but it's exciting to know the direction. However, I went towards, and this did not feel any less creative, is I worked on my goals for this year that I wanted. And I was like, Lord, show me what I want to do this year. And I just started making lists. And it was really weird, because sometimes I do that, sometimes I don't. It felt, and my one thing was don't have a stop on it. Just put things down as they came. Don't limit. And so I just started putting things down, and they were very, to use the word conservative. None of them said, oh, I'm going to go to Australia. And it looks like I'll be going to Australia to see my brother now. So I mean, it's crazy. So I didn't put that down.
Let's
go. But it felt, it took me out of the place of distraction, out of the place of being in the news cycle and being at the mercy of the news cycle, being at the mercy of whatever someone's trying to throw either way. And I'm not talking sides or anything. What people are throwing, to get clicks and whatever else. It felt like freedom.
I love that.
It felt like, oh yes, things go on, news cycles hit, there are valid things that we have to be concerned about. But at the same time, this life right here that the Lord has given me has to be lived. What do I want for that? What would the Lord want for me for this? And that felt incredibly creative in doing that. And it was refreshing. It got me out of, and then it also freed me to start thinking further about my next project and, ways to promote this, the other one. And, I read more instead of being on my phone. I said, hey, why don't I read a little more, and it even made my Bible reading more fresh, because it had not,
Did you feel like you were seeing through, like, fresh eyes?
I do think so. But I think it's a considerable battle even still, because I think that we can get so ingrained in, I got to find out what's happening here under this news cycle bit. We get so wrapped up into that our souls are deadened.
Do you feel like you start to spiral into thinking about your own stuff too? Because I do that. Like I'll think about the news and I'll somehow always get onto all the things that are like wrong in life or that I can't fix or control.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's like this almost, not self-deprecation, it's not that, but
it was the fixing thing.
Like the anxiety, it's like I can't focus on anything because all I can focus on is what is out of my control, what I'm so anxious about.
And all you wanted to do is try to figure out a way to fix it, which is impossible.
Yeah. You go through the mental loops over and over and over.
I did some heavy repenting because I was, Lord, I am so sorry how egotistical I am. I'm trying to be the Holy Spirit to the people I love. I'm trying to be the Holy Spirit in this situation. And I'm not saying that blasphemously. I'm saying I'm trying to take on myself things that are not for me to take on. That is God's role, to be the Holy Spirit to people. I'm supposed to love, speak truth in love, pray, but I cannot change someone's mind. And I'm not even talking about news cycle. I can't change somebody's mind. I can do what I can do, and I let God do what He does.
Man,
He does it way better than I do. But I do, in all this, I do want to bring up to something that I thought was fabulous. Last night, my friend Anna Gray Smith here, along with documentary, has ventured into the choral arts, the singing arts, the performance
Just singing
arts.
music again.
Yeah, but it's a big deal because you've been studying with a teacher. So she had said for weeks, the tickets, at Tanger Center, and it's the Final Fantasy, and I'm going, the Final what-a-be, and I'm like, that rang.
Is it a movie?
That
Is it
rang
a CD?
a bell in my deep part of my brain. I'm like, I know I've grown up. I've known that word for a very long time, and I've just was never a gamer. And I thought, oh, it's a game. And part of me was like, it's just going to be one of these really, and you kept saying it was one of these angsty, how did you refer to it?
I don't know. It's
Kinda
definitely
angsty,
different music.
But
mixed media.
It was
and angsty.
Well, one and
angry
then,
Latin.
Well, angry Latin. Yeah. So you had worked super hard on it, and truth be told, last night it was about 5 o'clock, and I'm like, I just want to stay at home in front of my fireplace. And here's another thing: this is about us getting out and getting out. You know what I mean? Not doing our normal.
Yep.
And so I was like, nope, we're gonna go. So Lily and I got dressed, and we were wondering, what do we wear to this, because it's the Greensboro Opera, symphony. And I thought, oh no, they're going to be people in long dresses and all that. And I'm like, you know what? They can be in their long dresses. It feels like 8 degrees outside. I'm going to dress. So we show up at this beautiful, the Tanger Center, which is glorious. And we walk through the doors, and we walk into our seats, which are just perfect. I now want that row all the time. It's wonderful. And we run into all these people, and they're all young. They're younger. Some of them are older, but majority of the people were young. Usually you go to the Tanger Center, and everybody's over, no joke, medium age 64.
Really?
Yeah,
even for Broadway?
Even for Broadway.
Interesting.
In the long run, it seems like it was more older people. I'm sure there's a better mix to it. But I get there, I'm one of the oldest women there, and people are dressed up in different things. Some of them are just in regular clothes. And we sit and watch this symphony. I don't know how to explain it, except for the symphony was warming up. They're on the stage. This row of chairs are over on stage. I always forget, stage left or right. It's stage right. It's stage right.
Yes.
And then a huge screen in the middle. And so I'm going, okay, so I'm right. Final Fantasy is a video game. And I'm like, oh, wow, I'm so glad I wore my mom's her jacket that looked really military.
Okay,
it fit right in.
It did.
Right in. But they proceed. The conductor comes out, and Anna Gray has been out, and we can't find you in the
sea of black attire.
But I mean, we're talking. There's a lot of people on stage. You have an orchestra and a choral group, and then you have this gigantic screen that's taking up all this. For 2 hours, I'm proceeded to literally be blown away by the sheer beauty of it all. And I'm going, this is a video game. And the music, the scores were utterly, utterly breathtaking. And the music with it, and then the choral, the angsty Latin that you were doing, but it wasn't. It was like watching the end of, superhero movies with the really sweeping things for 2 hours. And it lifted my soul, so much so that I went, at the end of this, I'm giving them all a standing ovation, whether anybody doesn't stand up with or not. And the woman beat me to me up front, and I stood, but I had tears in my eyes. It was so beautiful. Tears in my eyes. It was so beautiful. I never expected it. I mean, it was beauty in a different, unexpected way, in a creative way. And they'd also, what you didn't see with the screens, they had the Final Fantasy from back in the day when I remember Pac-Man and the little squares and all. I mean, it was from like 1980 something to now. The graphics, amazing stuff, but it was breathtaking.
Well, it's funny hearing your side
and
of that.
And I'm sorry I talked so long about it, but it was that glorious.
For us hearing that, it's such also an interesting paradigm shift. And this circles right back to, like, I think what we've been talking about, because I was genuinely, like, from the utmost gratitude in my soul, so happy you guys loved it, because we, as the, like, choir, number one, for our first rehearsal, I thought we were combining with like 90 more people, almost 90 people.
I thought you were too.
And I thought, okay, because we were considered like a pickup choir. So I'm thinking, okay, so it's like backup vocals.
That's what you kept explaining.
We're just picking up, it's just like 32
I thought you were going to be one person in the sea of 800 people.
And I mean, we worked so hard. We had 6 rehearsals total. And so I sit down and I look at the woman beside me. I said, so where's like the rest of the choir? Actually, what do you mean?
And there was what?
We are the choir.
There was like 30
and
of
it was
you,
like, oh,
right?
What? 30. It was just a little over 30, yeah.
And you were mic'd.
Yep. And it's not that I thought this is going to suck. But I mean, like, we only had so many rehearsals. We had a lot of people missing from rehearsals. We couldn't hear everything or everybody because of where we were sitting. Like, the woman beside me for the soprano section, she couldn't hear the monitor. We only could hear each other. And it felt like this group, I don't know how to describe it, because I also was super excited because I'm like, we've worked hard for this, let's go. But the nervousness for me was praying to God. I'm like, can we somehow hit all of these notes, hit all of these? Because you go on with rehearsals, they dissect more and more and more. And it's good in one aspect because it's like, okay, we've hit all the big stuff. We've got the pitches and we've got, some of those trickier places fine-tuned, but then it's like down to, we had a rehearsal the same day of the show. We're given notes, we have more emails, and all things that are good. But I was nervous thinking, what if, my biggest fear was, oh my gosh, what if this sounds really bad to the audience? And so when I heard it on playback, it's funny because I wasn't wowed like, oh my gosh, I am absorbing my sound, but knowing that carried through, and then the audience being such a big part of that, it felt like a shared experience with everybody. It was, not just us.
Because I remember, and what you said about the sound, I remember watching the drums and the xylophone or whatever. I mean, I was just watching. It was so much to watch, but it wasn't. At first, I was like, "How am I going to do this?" And then my brain says, "Just take it all in." You know. So if you want to watch the screen, watch the screen. If you want to watch the musicians, watch that in the choral group. And I just remember I was watching the drum section, and I went, "Oh, they piped in music, the choral group." And then I looked over and I went, you are it. The choral, that was the choral group. That's how great it sounded.
Man, it was one of those things where you're like, January was a kind of a hard month with a lot of things happening at once. Like there was a lot of just disappointments, you know, and some stress and like personal stuff going on, to where I had this thought almost like, actually I was here before the first rehearsal, because I think I said, yeah, like I'm about to go, I'm nervous, like I want to go, but I don't want to go. But it was also that almost conviction of, no, you need to go through with it. Kind of like for you going to an 8 o'clock show, which like I was tired for by 6 o'clock.
We show up. We have to show up.
Yeah.
You
and
show up
keep
at the
showing up.
typewriter. You show up at that.
You show up even when it's not there, because I think so often we can let that feeling, and sometimes that feeling is okay, like we need rest. Right. But also there is that time where it is almost like a sacrifice of sorts. Not that I'm saying in your case, for other people, but I think it's in the Psalms, like draw near to God and he will draw near to you. Yeah. And I think that even creatively that can apply, because I think we're all wired up very much alike, but very differently. And I think
creative. Yeah. I mean, he's a creator who said, go out, take dominion, be creative.
Well, and I think when we pursue how he's designed us in that way to create beauty, and Fyodor Dostoevsky, by the way, refers to Jesus as being the beauty that saves the world.
Yes,
which is why I say dig more into that. Yeah. Oh, it's so good. But, and I have that captioned on like my Instagram, my Facebook is my bio, just Dostoevsky quoted. But, you know, it's exactly what you said. It's, you know, doing the hard thing, or not necessarily the hard thing, but just, I think, making yourself take the initial step, even if you're not feeling it. You know, it's like, if you want change, sometimes it actually really does start with you. And it's sometimes in ways, sometimes I think we look for change in like an opportunity coming to us, or something fixing us, whereas like sometimes that might happen, but other times it's us actually being the proactive start of it.
So what you're saying, and I really like this, the beauty that changes the world is really us stepping out with the Lord, doing like he does and create, and that in essence saves our part of the world, changes our part of the world for good.
Yeah, I think it brings light to darkness.
Yeah, because I think to complete the Final Fantasy, I was concerned because, you know, Greensboro is very liberal. I love Greensboro. And particularly during these heated times, I was like, okay, what am I going to encounter? If this, this is a different set for me. This is Gen Z. What is it? Whatever all the other gens. And so, is there going to be, is it going to be someone's going to make a political statement of some sort? Is it going to be politicized? There was not 1 ounce of that.
Yeah.
There was only people gathered together to oddly celebrate. They weren't celebrating, yes, it was the game, but they were celebrating the music that have settled in their souls. That is so very, very beautiful. And then in all this, you're looking at different ranges of people. There have been people who've been playing this game since 1980 something. And so their memories are coming back of what was going on in their lives and all this. It was this beautiful restoration thing that, I mean, obviously points to what our Lord wants us to head towards, because it was, people laughed, people were thrilled. A bunch of people who normally don't go to the symphony gave a standing ovation to this man who apparently is very, very popular, very, I mean, he goes all over the world.
He's so cool. He's so fun.
We gave him 2 standing ovations, and he generally seemed touched. Now, I don't know if that was the case or not, but I know the audience reaction, people left with a lighthearted spirit. They had seen something otherworldly, something so beautiful. And I just looked, I just walked out and I just went, I just thank God for this. It was,
I did the same thing, but from the opposite end, because it was like this shared experience. Like when the audience was brought in too, and when we could hear.
Oh, tell them a little bit about that.
Everyone in the
So
audience though, when he would bring up the different seasons of the games.
Yes.
I was sitting beside this lady and I was laughing so hard, not laughing at them, but I was laughing in the fact that I'm like, these people are like hardcore. No, I loved it though.
Yeah, number 9.
It was like this shared energy, and I could hear some guys yelling out, and there were tons of like Final Fantasy junkies in the choir, like tenors and basses.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that made it it felt like this shared experience with everybody. It didn't feel like, oh yes, we're here to sing at you. It felt like this thing of like, no, like we're all joined in the same room on the same exact plane, and it's like we all were giving each other something. I don't know how to describe it.
And it wasn't for us non-gamers. I did not feel left out. I went, oh wow, it's curious to me how you play the game, but it was about the music and the music that inspired and the memories that come from that game with that music. To me, it was the epitome of hashtag how to heal a culture.
Yes. I felt, I literally walked out feeling like something healed this inside of myself, and this lightheartedness too, like in a really good way, you know?
It was
the coldest, such a cold, windy day.
But it was community. It was being brought together. There wasn't divisiveness. And there wasn't ignoring of that there are different beliefs in other people. But it was this, okay, wait. You know, how can we sit in a room and enjoy beauty? It was divine.
I'm happy that everyone was able to kind of go to a different world and dimension, antennas and costumes and all.
So how do we put down? How do we get more of this in our life? How do we put down the cell phone? That that is necessary for a lot of things, but I
think start with your 5 main senses, to be honest. Like literally, if you can see, hear, touch, smell, taste, like there's beauty everywhere. It's like, I think we just have to be in a place of openness to it. Yeah. You know, like look up at the sky or the moon. I love looking at the moon and the stars. Or like when I come here, we'll watch the sunset.
But you think about it, because I'm wondering, and particularly after hearing what Fedor said beauty is Jesus Christ. Beauty requires sacrifice.
It does.
Because for you to make your beautiful video, it required frozen fingers. For me to write something, it requires time, showing up. For everybody who creates, for you to go sing, for the people to play the music, for the conductor to get there and to work. It's incredibly hard for anything. For the very chairs that we sit in, for the very good shoes that I love, the Keens and the Naots, it takes design and creativity. I'm just seeing all the things that God gives us to bring about beauty, but it's in the process of doing that the beauty is brought.
Yeah.
So, and when I say that, hey, kitty cat,
he's amening like the Baptist man on the pew.
He's going, I'm in.
Yes.
I'm in. But no, it's sacrificial in this sense, because to do this thing, to do the things that you want to do, you're sacrificing. You have to make a time decision. I'm going to do this, and I'm not going to do that. I'm going to meow. I'm going to laugh and meow.
Oh my God. No, I'm like absorbing everything you're saying. But it's like, I think there's going to be actually levels of pain to create something of beauty. I don't say that in like a masochistic way, but it's like, if you're going to play an instrument, your fingers are going to callous. If you're going to run, your muscles are going to hurt.
If you're going to create something, if you're going to create an engine or a motor or a car, whatever, it takes brain power.
And I think like just being open and curious to possibilities too. So often we can go at something with this is going to be the outcome. And that's not bad. I think that's great to have a trajectory. But sometimes it's literally the discipline of I don't have a trajectory, but I just am going to take my camera, take my pen, my 1800s typewriter, whatever it is, and do something. And maybe you don't know what. And I think that can actually be interesting time to sit with your thoughts. And when I say hear from God, I don't mean that like audibly God's literally going to say something, maybe. But I think sometimes just letting your mind relax and your body as well can give the space for that, rather than like being so clamored with thoughts, you know, or a trajectory and forcing it, you know, that we can almost shut out things on the peripheral because we're like, oh, no, this is the trajectory. I can't do anything else. Then,
you know, I was thinking of last night, because I told you there was something I saw that you did not see, and there's no way you could possibly saw. But the conductor comes out. He's standing in the place with all the stories that you've told me. There's only one person on that stage who understood how all the pieces were going to come together, and it was the conductor.
oh my gosh.
Because
He's brilliant.
You did not know how your part was going to feed in. The orchestra had no idea how the choral was going to work. They had no idea probably either about the graphics. I watched the conductor, and he had some sort of little screen that had all the graphics there. But he was the one in charge of knowing the big picture. And I was like, that's so like God.
Yes.
Like God knows all the pictures. All we have to do is worry about turning our pages, lifting our voices and singing, or playing our part.
Yep.
And, you know, or participating in the audience and watching and having a wonderful time. So much we say that word at the end. What was that word at the end? That we all
Say för off.
Say för off. And everybody knew when to say it. And so I said it a couple of times, and then I just want to listen. It was really great. But that is it. That is it. We trust the conductor of our souls.
Well, you know, I think exactly bouncing off your thoughts with that, and I'll keep this short, but we were told from, we had another conductor who did all of our rehearsals. We rehearsed with Arnie Roth twice before the actual show. And, you know, and like you said, he's absolutely brilliant. And he's, you know, I believe he's composed, we saw his name on one of the pieces too, like in tandem with somebody else. But he's working with so much at once. And we were told, you know, even if you don't get the glaring sign for him to stand, you know your part, you know where you come in, trust that, do it. And I think so often we can think, oh, I need a glaring sign from God to do something, where it's like, wait. Again, he gives us that like natural, holy, like intuition. And so tap into that too, because
he gives you permission. He says,
yes.
Daughter,
and
you're a daughter.
There were some times, you know, in rehearsal where it's like there was this uncertainty, and our rehearsal conductor told us, she said, just trust. She said, you know exactly what to do. You guys have done this. She said, so just, you know, the timing, go for it. Just be confident. That's all you need to do. You know everything else. You know you've worked on all of this. And so just come in when you're supposed to. Even if you do not see him automatically cue you, if it takes him, you know, she said, you know, give him a minute. But if you don't see him, go for it. And so it was just that.
It was utterly beauty.
Yeah.
So that is it. I think that's it, is being inspired by beauty, but also participating in it.
Yep.
And
absolutely.
sacrificing for it, because it is a great thing to do.
Yes.
It's a great way. I mean, having lived our lives for that is not a bad thing. Not for the superficialness, what we think of beauty, but for the deep, deep work of God in our work in beauty. So,
man, carpe diem.
Carpe diem. Amen.
Yeah.
As the cat would say.
Yeah, where is he now? Wow.
Hey, cheers.
Cheers.